Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks so much for joining us from all around the world, our lovely squad, our viewers who tune in and celebrate what we're doing here. Sort of bringing back that lost art of conversation with all these great guests from Broadway and Hollywood and television and film and music and stage and sports and food and inspiration and everywhere else you can think of in terms of categories, and guests that come in from all around the world. So cool to have you here. Now, I've been saying the last couple of weeks that we've been having a really extraordinary winter time here in the northeastern United States. We're in the New York area, between New York and Boston, the southern New England coastline. And it's been nice. We've been getting 50, 60, 70-degree temperatures here in the northeastern United States in January, February. Well, guess what? We've got about 5 to 8 inches of snow headed here right now. So we didn't speak too soon. It's just that I guess it was sort of delayed, and February sort of fading out and March coming in like the old lion that it is. So we'll have some white stuff outside. It'll be nice, it'll clear up because Thursday will be back to 50 degrees. Wherever it is around the world, I hope you're having a good day. Thanks for joining us. This is a place to come for the light, love, and levity, and our levity that we have. We appreciate everybody that's chiming in here. Matter of fact, one of our great friends, son of legendary comedian Chris Corman, is watching. And he's already commenting. He's all excited. Dear friend of mine and our guest. He goes, Katie Riggs is to vocal technique therapy what Bob Mackie is to costume design, the premier, peerless talent in her field of passion and expertise. He took the words right out of my mouth. I love it, Chris. We love you being with us. And he's so right. She's our special guest joining us from Los Angeles, California, and she's one of the most sought-after vocal coaches in the world. She's been teaching voice for over 22 years. Born and raised in LA, Katie grew up at the knee of arguably the most distinguished and successful voice teacher in the business, her father, Seth Riggs, creator of speech-level singing. Training her own voice since she was 7 years old and working side by side with her father, that earned Katie a lifetime of training, and it's given her an extraordinary vocal insight, extensive knowledge, and instincts that are second to none. She's joining us here as our special guest live from Los Angeles. In just a second, gang, if you'd like to comment during the show, you can do it right now in the JMS Levity chat room. That's the chat room that's open and available to those who subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Master TV, which costs nothing. You just hit that red subscribe button and you're in. You're a part of the JMS Levity squad, and it doesn't cost you anything to do that. And you can comment, say hello to one another. We might even sprinkle one of your comments right here below on the screen as the show is on. Don't forget, of course, to subscribe, click like, drop a comment in the comment section as well, all that fun stuff. But we're so excited to have our illustrious guest joining us from LA. She's really extraordinary at what she does. She's very passionate about what she does as well. And she's just darn good too. And she really helps people, live their passion and their dreams. She teaches and develops and unfolds the voices of everyday singers as well as the industry's finest. Some of her star clientele have included Vampire Weekend, Brian Wilson, Ozzy Osbourne, Sweetie, Midland, Leslie Grace, Amber Riley, Madison Beer, and a host of up-and-comers and so many others. What attracts many students to Katie is her ability to sing. She sings the techniques she teaches and demonstrates exactly how to apply it. It's the particular skill that gives Katie a unique advantage over most vocal teachers. It allows her to teach others quickly, effectively, with clarity, authority, and a tremendous amount of support. Her goal, really, for every lesson and event is to establish great vocal technique so that her students feel free and their instrument to fully express what's in their heart. The joy of singing is in the freedom and flexibility of your gift. We have some video and a whole host of cool things we're going to be showing you, some of the technique And you're just absolutely going to love it. She's really amazing at what she does. And it's my honor to welcome her again live and direct from Los Angeles, California. She's going to teach us a few things here on the show. Our very special guest, Katie Riggs. Katie, welcome to the Jim Master Show. So great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I love this online community of people. It's a whole family.
It is. It's the Lovity Squad. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, they're going to welcome you as a Lovity right away, as they always do for all the guests. Chris Corman, our buddy, he's been a Lovity for quite some time, and I appreciate his comment right off the bat there. Really excited to have you here and see you on the show. How are things there in LA?
They're just rainy, really. I mean, we did have some hail when I was driving down Sunset. There was some ice, but no kind of snowstorm. It's just really cold for Los Angeles. It's about 50 degrees. We cruise around 75.
Yep, we're exactly right. That's the cruising around 75. Well, we're getting the snow. We got it coming here. I guess we're due. We haven't had it all winter, and so it'll come, it'll go. As long as, like you and I were talking before we went live, as long as we're upright, we're ahead of the game, right? We are.
1,000,000%.
So we've been through this crazy time in our lives, and you're teaching and inspiring and empowering people. How has what we've been the last few years inspired you? What have you reflected on? What are some of the things that you've experienced yourself during this different time we've all experienced in our lives?
Well, for one, it makes me want to travel more. I mean,
Yes.
that feels like the obvious answer in the way of like people calling in from all over the world to take vocal lessons. I mean, all of us were shut down during pandemic, but it really makes me want to travel to the places where I'm giving these lessons. I was on Skype before, but then everybody moved over to the Zoom platform. So in another way, besides wanting to travel more and do workshops and lessons, is just the availability. I mean, how quick it is just to, all we need, all I say is like, all we need is good Wi-Fi and a piano, and that's all we really need. So calling in from anywhere, it works,
Right. I tell you, and it's just made it just so much easier for everybody. And you get to reach audiences and those who maybe you might not have been able to reach otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And, you don't have to fight traffic to get in. I mean, people as close as Beverly Hills, that's only about 10 minutes away from me. They call in,
Right.
It's like,
Even they call it.
If you're in a recording session, not having the time to make it over, you can just call in. It's like so available and so fast. So it's been really, really cool.
When they call in from Beverly Hills, are they usually calling in from poolside or?
I don't know.
So you come from an illustrious background, of course, surrounded by music all your life. Tell us about this iconic background. And it's so great that you absorbed it early and applied it and made it your own in your own way, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, yes, the truth is that I come from this iconic background, but when I was growing up in it, I knew that it was special, but I didn't think it was any more special than, any other way of growing up, because it was just the way that I grew up, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, you're right.
I always loved to sing from the get-go. And so it was a no-brainer that, my mom and dad both wanted me to take vocal lessons. And so I started off around 7 or 8 years old. They overheard me singing in my bedroom, and my mom started coaching me. She learned the technique from my dad. And so I would sing more so of like the classical musical theater with my mom, and then I would go in and sing more of like the pop and the soul and with my dad. I mean, I sang everything with my dad. But I took lessons from them both. And yeah, that was just really normal. My mom would, my mom met my dad. They had 5 kids, 2 kids from other relationships. And so I grew up in this big house with a lot of brothers and sisters. And when my mom was taking a brother to soccer practice and another sister over here, she would put us into the studio with our dad and, tell us to kind of not say anything, just keep our head down, do our homework, sit on the couch. But what we were able to observe were these like magnificent singers of all genres and really all backgrounds too. It wasn't only celebrity, it was everybody. It was everybody. It was like the next door neighbor's kid, but it was also Michael Jackson. And then people that you didn't think sang it all, in the realm of like dancing and acting, they came through too. So it was so many different kinds of people with different stories coming in to learn this same exact vocal technique. And that is what was really exciting for me, because I love to sing different kinds of music. And for so long, if you were going to sing musical theater, then you need to go to a musical theater coach. If you're going to sing pop, then you need to go to a pop coach. If you're going to sing classical, you need to go to a class. So it's really kind of segregated.
Right.
But this one vocal technique worked across all genres. So it was just really fun. Yeah.
And it's a really, like you say, it is unique. Speech level singing. Your dad, of course, Seth Riggs, creator of it. Tell us, for those who are watching, what it actually is, how it works, and the benefits of it.
Okay. So speech level singing in a nutshell is the ability to sing through the middle and higher parts of your range with the same kind of comfortability and presence, richness of the bottom where you speak, right? So in my voice, everybody, male, female, doesn't matter. The voice that we talk in all day long is called our chest voice, right? And so your chest voice has a range. I can go, so that's all chest voice. That feels pretty manageable because this is where I talk. The problem for most singers is when I move from this range to this range, right? So male and female voices, males, it would come a lot sooner. But if you're up here with me, the voice is going to want to do one of three things. One, and then it breaks and you end up in this voice. This voice doesn't match that other voice, right? And so if you're looking for strength, you wouldn't go to a falsetto for it, right?
So when your voice breaks like that, when you're hoping that you can continue and the break says stop and does that, what's actually happening?
So it feels like the vocal cords are just blowing apart, right? So you don't have this anymore. You've got this, right?
Right.
So there's vocal cord adduction when you're talking, the vocal cords are coming together.
Right.
Now when you go, they fly open.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have any strength in this part of my register, right? So then the second option of moving from low to high is if I equate power with my chest voice, in essence, that means when I'm on these notes, I'm just going to take my chest voice up. And then what happens is I start to yell. So whether it's right now, a few notes later, a few notes sooner, I start to strain, right? I start to yell. It starts to sound more and more tense, right?
Yeah,
and the pitch is affected. I feel it in my throat. That's what makes my voice really tired, right? If I yell. And so that high note that I'm yelling, it doesn't feel closer over time. It feels further and further away, right? Because all of the muscles in my throat are starting to push. So what speech level singing has enabled me to do, right, is to go into what is called a mix. And the mix is just a mixture of my head voice and my chest voice working together. So it sounds like, right? So there's a continuation of sound without my voice breaking and without starting to use extra muscles in my throat to where I'm yelling, right? So that is what speech level singing is the way the clarity that I have down low is the same up high. I can keep on going. I'm not stressed out because the notes are going higher because I know how to execute them in a balance.
Yes, that makes total sense. So when we're starting out, are we trying to push our voices to do things that it's just not ready and conditioned to do yet? And that's why sometimes as we're doing it, the voice will deviate and go into other areas that will be like, where did that sound come from? Because we're trying to force the voice
Yeah.
early on when people want to sing to do things it's just not ready to do.
Well, yeah, well, there's definitely natural mixers. There's people that do this naturally, like Barbara Streisand, like Aretha Franklin, you know? There are people that are born with the accessibility, natural affinity to get into this range without really having to maybe think about it, or where it just happens naturally. And then my dad came up with a way for the rest of us
Yeah.
to get into these areas by a methodical approach of specific vocal exercises that build in to the middle and upper range, so that your range from low to high just sounds like just one sound. You hear one sound, but I'm doing two different things depending upon where I am. When I'm down low, I'm in chest. When I go up into the middle and the high, I'm in what's called a mix, but you don't know that as the listener. So the greatest frustration is when we're listening to different singers that use any kind of high notes. It's hard for people that aren't trained to understand what the singer is actually doing, right? So if you hear Stevie Wonder, whatever song, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours, right? You're going to think that that's all chest voice. But when you learn what it is, right, it's actually a mixed voice. And so the confusion is on what actually you're hearing. And then when you try to go match it, you're going, okay, I want to sing a Stevie Wonder song. I want to sing that song. And then you're forcing your voice to do things that he's not even doing. He's not taking full chest up to, I don't know if you know, like note wise, but like high B's and C's. He's not using chest voice. He's using a very strong, developed, mixed, blended sound. And that is why he can perform and perform and perform and perform and perform. And his voice keeps showing up, showing up, showing up, showing up. So for people that don't have it developed, what you hear is not actually what is being felt in the singer. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly. Right. What are some of the most common mistakes that we make in the beginning when we're learning to sing, trying to sing? Like, I know sometimes you can be singing and you're really pushing your voice, and the energy is still there, but you run out of air. Like you can't finish the note because you've expended all of the air that you are using from your lungs. You're like, well, wait, under other conditions, that air is always there. Why is the air
Mm.
disappearing when I'm propelling my voice? What's happening then?
Well, so it sounds like maybe two different things are going on. Like for one, I think a lot of us don't mark where we're supposed to breathe in a song, right? So we'll just be singing a song and it feels all comfortable, but we're taking breaths unconsciously, right? So I guess the solution there would be to go through the songs. I mean, what I like to do is I like to print the lyrics to the song and then go through it and mark literally where I'm breathing, so that I make sure that I have the breath for an extended amount of time, however long I need it for. Now, if you're singing from the wrong place and it feels like it's cut off, depending upon the context, that's where most of our work is. Like, for instance, if you're trying to yell from one area and push to the next area, it's not going to work, because you need a different set of muscles in order to execute the top note instead of what you're thinking you're hearing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And one of the things too, I know it's a pun, but is finding our own voice, right? Sometimes we always start out trying to mimic other people. And it's not bad to do that. Maybe there's singers and people that you admire and you love their sound, and maybe there is texture and quality to your voice that might be similar to that person that you're admiring. But you really have to find what your voice, what you're able to do, and sort of master that, right?
Yeah. Well, so a couple things on that is like, you know, you want to use the singer when you're learning a song, you want to use the singer as more of the blueprint. So to get a sense of where are the notes, what's the phrasing, what's the timing like. And I feel like all of us fall victim to that because we want to sound like our favorite singers, right? But when you're too caught up trying to copy somebody else's sound, you do lose yourself. And finding your true voice, it's not even that difficult. It's the voice that you speak in, right?
Right.
And you don't want to lose the quality that you speak in when the notes start to change. It makes me think of this memory I have of when I was growing up and singing lessons with my dad. I said, I want to sound like Aretha Franklin. It's easy.
Yeah, right,
No.
exactly. Yeah, no,
And
not
my dad
quite.
was like, you're not Aretha Franklin, you're Kathleen Riggs. So you're gonna sound like now look, like he said, like, I'm never gonna sound like Aretha because I'm not Aretha, but I can show you how to sing all the notes she does. It's just gonna sound like you, not her, because our
Hmm.
facilities are different. It's
Right.
like comparing apples to oranges, a voice you know, like a Britney Spears versus a Christina Aguilera. It's like right off the bat, there's differences, Michael
Right.
Bublé to Stevie Wonder. It's like the facilities are different.
That-
Nobody's less
right.
talented. It's
Right.
just different.
Exactly. Diana Ross to Julie Andrews. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
not going to.
what's really cool about this particular technique is that we can learn to sing all of our favorite songs without engaging your throat in a way that's going to make you utterly exhausted and frustrated, right? So when somebody comes in for a voice lesson, I'm not only training them to sing the song that they want to sing and they want to work on. I'm thinking about long term. I'm thinking for anybody that walks through the door, if they were to have a tour coming up, how are they going to be using their voices to successfully execute all of those songs? So it's never about one song. It's about, we need to have good habits in one song so it transfers over to all the other songs. I've got people that want to come in and they want to sing one song and they just want to yell a piece of it.
Yeah.
That's no good. I'm not a fan of that because,
No.
it's our gift. And I go into thinking about like, piano keys, you can replace keys, you can replace strings, you can replace drumsticks, but you can't replace your vocal cords. So that's why I'm a proponent of vocal health and establishing great habits from the get-go. And so we don't have to fix things later because you're getting it from the start.
Friend of mine, an opera singer in New York, and I remember when we were out, she would not want to go out in the cold weather because she said it would automatically affect her voice, especially if she had a concert coming up soon. She was very protective of her voice in many different ways, but especially the cold weather and the wind and all. There are certain things that, humidity, cold weather, whatever, not being dehydrated, physical things that can play havoc if we don't pay attention to, right, Katie?
1,000,000%. It is cold outside and my nose just starts to run. And for whatever reason, rhyme or reason, I've noticed that when I've gotten into my 30s, I've started to have allergies that were not there when I was under 30. And so, yeah, absolutely. When you think about going out into the cold, when you have to, obviously, to live your life, you have to bundle up, you have to wrap your throat, and then you don't want to drink things that are too cold or too hot. So you always want to go towards the room temperature waters. And then there's things like, caffeine. There's some nervous systems that can take it and other nervous systems that are going to be entirely, jittery. There are some voices that are fine while eating dairy, and then others that will have you coughing and clearing your throat constantly, So all of these things, being at a higher altitude can affect your voice versus being down on the ground. Yeah. I mean, most people do like kind of more of the humidity. If you had to choose cold or humidity, it'd be humidity. So there's moisture, but yeah, absolutely. And especially too for an opera singer, because the notes of an opera singer are genuinely a lot higher, right? And so if you get
Yes.
that knocked out, what are you going to do?
Veronica Lee is watching in Australia. Good day, Veronica Lee. And she says, I am not fond of my speaking voice. Can I learn to use a different voice or use my vocal cords in a better way for a pleasant voice? So she, right out the gate, doesn't even like her speaking voice.
Yeah. And I feel so bad for that because, I feel like um, we're all given our voices,
Hmm.
and so like the best case scenario is to learn in your voice what it can do. There was even like a Michael Jackson spoke, he liked to speak really, really high.
Yes.
He felt like it almost like saved his voice, right? But he didn't have to speak there. He just chose to speak
So
there.
that wasn't the natural voice when he was speaking. Wow.
No,
Yeah.
no,
It was like a
no, no.
childlike voice. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just made him sound really quite different. I mean, look, my dad would always say, like, you wanna sign autographs in the same voice as
Hmm.
you're performing with. But I understand this woman's talking about just her natural speaking voice. I have a little story. It was this woman that came in, her voice was incredibly low, incredibly low. I mean, like male baritone low, which is not something that you see. Um, and she didn't like her voice. She thought it sounded too manly. She wanted to sound she wanted to sound more feminine, and all I could show her was the different ranges of her chest voice, because if I'm down here, say I just was down here and I'm feeling like I don't like the way that I talk down here, then I could show you in your chest voice so that you don't have to go all the way up here. You do have a range of chest voice. It's not 2 or 3 notes of a range, there's a lower, I could say, R, R, R. So the best case scenario is like, I'm not going to be talking up here, but I'm not going to be talking down here. So finding the middle of my chest voice. If you don't like the sound of your voice that you speak in, which is your chest voice, you could try to go into the middle range of your chest voice, but see, if you don't know where that is or how to be shown, then it's like I'm trying to help, but it's not very useful. Do you know what I mean, Jim? Like I
Exactly
have
right.
I have to hear it in order to like kind of like fix it or show. Um, but if you did take a vocal lesson, actually, I know teachers in Australia that are wonderful. So I could recommend somebody that can show you an area of your voice that you might like more than what you're doing right now.
Here's an interesting question, also from her in Australia, from Veronica Lee. Cyclic breathing.
I have never heard of cyclic breathing.
Yeah.
Like what's needed to play I don't even know that word. How do you
Yeah,
say
what
that?
yeah, what is that, Veronica Lee? Is that something specific to Australia, or define that for us?
It sounds
Cyclic.
fun.
I mean, cyclic, I don't know, like
Yeah, I mean,
repetitive or
the thing is like absolutely breath, having a good breath is essential, but most of the problems come down to the vocal coordination, because if you have all of the breath in the universe but you don't know how to shift from chest voice into a blend, you're going to be yelling no matter what, the high notes. So it's not a breath thing, it's a coordination of vocal cord thing. Um, but how I teach breath is, well, the thing is that you actually kind of don't need to be taught how to breathe, because you breathe all day long. But something that I have my clients do is, like, when you're at rest, if you're laying down in bed or sitting on the couch, is just to put your hands below your belly button and rest them there. And you'll see that when you inhale, your stomach comes out naturally. Now, the air is not coming from your stomach. The air is coming from your lungs. But if you put your hands on your lower stomach and you just breathe normally, you're gonna be able to tell that it's not from up here, right? So good breathing is when your posture's upright, because if you're slouching, your air is going to get trapped, right? So you want to be upright. And then when you inhale, think about inhaling from below your belly button, right? So I describe this as like you can have a short breath from your stomach that's going to last you way longer than a long breath from your shoulders. I mean, as long as you can get it, really. I mean, when you take a high breath, it's really shallow, it's really short, and it wants to come right back out of you, right? But when you belly breathe, which is pretty universal amongst vocal teachers, is when you inhale, your stomach comes out. And when you exhale, your stomach comes back in. So then how that relates to a scale, would be like my stomach comes out. Mum, 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 mum. So when I reach the top of the scale, my stomach starts to come back in. And you start to get like a really intuitive feel about it. Now, I can still, if I'm learning a song, when I'm learning a new song, depending upon the song, what it's asking for breath-wise, I might get tripped up. So, I treat myself like a newcomer, print the lyrics, know where I'm breathing, make sure that I'm not going to get to the next word, So the cyclic breathing, I don't know, but that's how I teach breathing.
That's it. Right. Exactly. Ms. Pat in Texas, she goes, please explain head voice.
Yeah, so your head voice is the voice right above the mix, but it's still connected to the bottom of my instrument. So when I'm going, well, I'll just show you. So this is me going from my chest to mix voice. So here's how I explain it. Pitch.
Do you sing that on Mother's Day?
I could.
Here's the new song for Mother's Day, folks. She just debuted it on the Jim Masters Show.
I mean, it's not very varied. You're saying the same thing.
But you're just saying her name over and over. They'd love it.
Yeah. So I explain it like, so pitch is made on a horizontal, but the sound functions on a vertical. So when I'm down in chest, and all of it with the singing, it comes back down to vowels. So the vowels that you're singing with, right, are going to able or disable range. So if I had a vowel like O, and I go, oh, you can hear that I didn't really leave the bottom of my voice, right? The sound went, oh, and I get caught up in a muscular feel. I can't get in here because I'm too far out that way. So how I go from my chest into the middle into my head voice is by keeping the vowel pure, and that's speech level singing, is being able to maintain the same enunciation as you would when you speak, right? So it's sorry, I forgot where my fingers were. So you're traveling from your chest, a blended head chest voice mix, and then head voice is right above it. It's going to feel a lot lighter than the middle. Why? Because the middle has more chest voice in it. So the higher you go, the more heady it feels. The lower you go, the more chest you feel. The sweet spot is knowing how to go from here to here without the sound changing to the audience. Right. I'm just going nay, 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 nay. When did I go to my mixed voice?
Mm,
You know, most
right.
people can't tell.
Right.
So, yeah, I
That's
hope I
cool.
explained that well enough.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool to think about it that way. It's a unique way of presenting it, right?
Right. And like also it like depends upon like the context of the song. So if I was singing like more of like a classical musical theater, it's not asking me to be belted, like it's just asking me to be easy,
Right.
Say like,
Exactly.
"Mom, mom, mom," sounds more like head voice, right? Mom, right? That
Mm,
note is a D. But if I wanted to sound more like chest voice, I'm going to press into my mix right there. Mom, mom, mom. It hears like more bottom, but when I let go, it sounds more head. So it's depending upon the context of the song. If I lighten up in my mix, it's going to sound like head voice. If I press
right.
into my mix, it's going to sound more like chest voice.
Would you say that's would you say that there are some genres of music that people's voices are just naturally conditioned to be better for than others? Like just the sound of your voice might be better for this genre of music, or just falls into place better with that kind of music? Or can anybody with the training sing anything?
I mean, initially, if someone comes in, and they really don't know how to make it out of their chest voice without a break and without starting to yell, I mean, I would probably put them towards like a really easy jazz standard. But there's a lot of people in jazz that do use a lot of range. But like, so to answer your question, it's like initially maybe, but yes, with training, we're able to use and access different parts of our range that felt like, you know, that's what I say, like, sing in a range that you never dreamed possible. Or did I say that right?
Right,
um,
exactly, right.
Most people think that their voice can only do so much. And then you start actually training and you find out, oh my God, I'm able to use my voice in all of these other areas. I had no idea I could do it, you know? And it's because a lot of teachers don't actually well, there's a lot of teachers that do teach speech level singing, and then there's people that don't. And I don't know about those lessons because I've only ever trained with my father. But if you don't study with somebody that knows how to access the middle range, then you will be pretty limited to the songs that you're able to sing, and that goes for in any genre of music. So when you develop your voice to hit the mid and the high areas, your options wildly open up, and that's the joy of doing what I do. When I'm not singing and feeling that joy, like the next best thing is being able to turn the lights on, in a sense, in people's voices and confidence where they just didn't think it was going to be possible.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to sound like Ariana Grande, but I can sing all those notes. I'm not going to sound like Aretha, but I can sing all those notes with just as much power. But I'm not Aretha, so there's differences. And also there's vocal technique, but there's also style. But style can be built too. It just depends upon your patience. Do you have patience for the process
Mm,
to learn and kind of go slow? But here's also the thing, is that sometimes it's not even that slow. I think that's a major, top reason why speech level singing, or this method that I teach, it is so exciting and so successful, because it does not take years and years and years to develop.
Sometimes they say with certain things, especially like in sports or what have you, it's better to start when you're a kid. Um, with singing, can you start at any age?
Uh, yes. It's never too late to build new habits. I'm working with Ozzy Osbourne right now. And I think he's in his 70s, and he's learning different things. So at any age, you can learn better habits that will change your experience of singing. And again, all it takes is kind of unraveling the bad habits and implementing good habits to just have a lot more fun singing, right? I mean, I feel like most of us will come into singing because we faced a problem in our voice. I mean, if you're lucky, you come as a kid, but there's lots of people that come in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that have not had good habits, but they've been doing whatever they've been doing. And now they want to suddenly kind of turn things around. It's like totally possible. It's not, you still have those same vocal cords, I mean, we do age. But yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Chris actually, our dear friend Chris has a question. Dear Katie, do you have any singing tips for someone with a speech impediment like himself, struggles with the clarity and diction?
The scales that I teach actually have you do that without even having that be the objective of the exercise. Like, I'll get to, okay. So when I'm going like, nay, 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 what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that the singer can sing from the chest into the middle of their range, right? But at the same time that my objective is range, at the same time, you're working on your tongue, nay. So you're doing it you're working on many things at the same time. I mean, the other thing that you're working on is breathing, right? If you have a problem with breath and holding your breath and, it feels like it's running out quick. Well, on that scale, you have to be on one breath, right? So it's like you're working on a lot of different things at once. I don't see a lot of people with speech impediments, but indirectly, when you use these scales, the speech impediment I've experienced does get easier and more clear because we're practicing different consonants that force your tongue to move in a different way.
Are you always singing throughout the house? Are you singing in the car, in the shower, singing when you're going from room to room? Were you always doing that as a kid? Were you always singing?
I would say more and more am I singing all the time.
Yeah. Like, do you sing billboards on the highway? Like I come from TV and radio, so I've done a lot of on-air radio and I've done a lot of announcing using my voice a lot. So I will announce highway billboards, street signs, and I'll do that constantly while I'm driving.
I mean, guaranteed, if we're on a ride together and we're on a little road trip, I am definitely singing songs for sure. I've got my playlist ready for sure. And then I do use my voice, at least 5 days a week throughout the day. If not helping somebody with, technical stuff, I'm helping them style stuff. So I'm really on my voice a lot. But yeah, I sing all the time. I sing all the time.
You do. That's fantastic.
I really do. And some people are like, doesn't your voice feel so exhausted at the end of the day? And it's like, no, what's exhausted? It's my mind. My mind is like mush by the end of the day, but not my voice. My voice can keep on going. I mean, my voice has only really been out when I've been sick.
Yes. Right. Right.
And that's really it, because when I'm singing, I'm in good habit most of the time. I'm not a machine, but most of the time I'm using my voice in such a way where I can keep singing, and I'm using the proper coordination. So I'm not getting tired.
It's funny. Sometimes people like the sound of their voice better when they are sick because it gets lower and more resonant. And all of a sudden it's a Barry White sound.
Which is like, it's nice and it's fun, but it's also, you don't actually want to like ride that wave too long because it is not your natural state to where that can make you more tired.
Exactly right.
So if you want to do the Barry White while you're sick, like sure, play around a little bit, but don't keep doing the Barry White because your voice is going to get tired.
It's going to get tired. How do you take care of your voice? Katie wakes up from a nice 7 hours maybe of sleep, a little twisting and turning here and there. She doesn't snore in her sleep. She sings in her sleep. And you wake up, and how do you care for the voice?
I mean, I can say that I could be better. I could be better. If I were performing, if I had a performing schedule, I would definitely tighten up my act, and that would look like, not drinking as much caffeine, staying away from all dairy, because I do know the things that affect my voice. So maybe I'm not the best example, but I can tell you that when I'm gonna go see a client at a show, I'm not yelling across the room, like in all of these bars and clubs and stuff, they put the music so loud that you start overusing your voice. And so
Yes.
I do take care in the way of, like, I'll go up to somebody and talk to them in their ear. I'll say, hey, can we go outside? I definitely prioritize sleep. I'm
Hmm.
really, like, it's so important to me that I get my sleep, because if I go to sleep like an hour or 2 hours later than what's normal, I'm like fuzzy and slow the next day.
You're
So
shot. Yeah.
that's definitely a priority. And then I also drink tons of water. I'm always drinking water. And then what else? I vocalize my own voice before I start my day of singing. Because depending upon what the vocal issue is of the client, I'm going to sometimes use exaggerations that I wouldn't normally, in my own training. So yeah, just making sure that I connect all the dots myself before I take someone else through the exercises. And what else do I do? I mean, I guess it just comes down to the self-care. It's like, absolutely, like, my body is a type of machine, right? So for my body, I have to eat 3 times a day, and then I do make sure that when I am performing or I'm singing, that I don't eat right before, a lesson or performing, because my voice is it's going to be thrown for a loop because my body's
Mhm.
trying to digest. So I definitely watch all these different kinds of things. I don't like going out when it's cold or rainy. I mean, that seems like more of a normal thing, but um yeah, because even just waking up, I've got nasal stuff this morning, and I'm like, the best case scenario is just laying low as much as I can, or not doing. Sometimes it's, not doing as much on my voice when I know that there's like something like allergies, and
Mhm.
things are moving around in a different way than normal. I
Yeah.
probably do less exercises, or you know what I mean? I just
Right.
kind of adjust to what's in front of me.
Yeah. How
Um,
about other physical exercise? Like if you're
oh,
cycling, swimming, tennis, other physical things can benefit, right?
1,000,000%. Yeah, I just ran a half marathon in January. I'm definitely very physical. I do strength training.
Congratulations on it.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Cool.
Yeah, I joined a running team. I stopped running, and then I started running, and I ran with a team. Well, with the team it was twice a week, and then on my own there's another couple times a week. Running makes me feel so awesome. Maybe not during, I'm cursing the gods, but afterwards I feel like a superhuman. And then I also do strength training a couple times a week. And I feel like those things definitely feel like I'm more energetic in my body. I can keep going for longer. My sleep is also deeper, that I'm fueling myself in the way of physical activity, but also food. So absolutely. And then too, it's like singing is such a physical thing that you want to be able to move and sing at the same time. So yeah.
Who are some of the singers that you admire? It's probably many, male and female, that you like. If we were to come over to your house and listen to your playlist, who would we hear? And are you going to say
Well,
it's all instrumental?
you know what? Like, I really do love instrumental.
So
Yeah,
do I.
because
I do too.
I hear voices all the
All the
time.
time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I do love podcasts too. But so podcasts and instrumental for sure. but I usually go back. I'm like listening to like Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Shaka Khan. I'm listening to some Aretha. What else have I been listening to? I do like Chris Stapleton. Did you hear him sing the halftime?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The
Yes.
man feels incredible. And gift. The gift and feel is just,
Did you ever hear, she's a Christian singer, but an extraordinary voice. And right with Whitney Houston singing the national anthem for the Super Bowl, there was a version that she sang in 1986 that was used for Liberty Weekend when they had the celebration celebrating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty. And it's Sandy Patty. Go to YouTube, type in 1986 Liberty Weekend, Sandy Patty, and you will hear her version of the Star Spangled Banner. And it's one of the most extraordinary I've ever heard. And she's incredible. The voice is just, I mean, she can just go and go and go and go and go. And just when you think she's reached the apex, it's like, boom,
Yeah. I'll look her up. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. We have some cool videos here too that you sent along, and we'll go through a couple of these. We'll show them, and then maybe we'll talk about them after. You want to do that?
Sure.
All right. Here's the first one, gang.
You don't want to breathe from your shoulders or your chest. So if your chest and your shoulders go, that air wants to come explosively right back out of you. Very short and it's very shallow. The breath is not deep if it's with your chest and your shoulders. So this is kind of universal, which is nice that vocal coaches will agree mostly to breathe from your diaphragm. What that means is you want the weight on the balls of your feet. You don't want your chin, close to your chest or up above. It's called jutting. You don't want to be out here. You want it to be normal as you were talking to a friend. And then when you inhale, your stomach is going to come out and you're going to feel your rib cage. I mean, if you put your hands on your rib cage, but your rib cage will come out, not come out, but move. And then you create a vacuum full of air through your stomach. So when you inhale, if you put one hand on your stomach and you inhale, out, exhale, back in. Inhale, out, exhale, back in. There's a really easy thing you can do on your phone. If you pull up just the timer app or a stopwatch, what I do with my students sometimes is I'll just open it up. I don't know where my phone is, but I'll inhale with my stomach and then I'll pick a note that's not high so I don't have to worry about coordination, but I'll just choose a low note and I'll be like, stomach out. I don't want to go too low, but I don't want to go too high, but I just kind of stay right here. La, 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 la. And what I'm going to feel is that my stomach is starting to pull in and that's the end of my breath. And then I'm going to inhale again. Doesn't matter if you breathe through your nose or your mouth, but it's going to look really awkward if you breathe through your nose and you're in a performance. So you should probably breathe through your mouth. So when you're in a song and it happens to be, it's easier to sing a slower song in a way, right? Because you have time to think, right? This is after you've marked your breaths. But if you're in a fast song, your stomach needs to be boom, out there. Boom, out there. Does that make sense? You can't be like, you don't have time. So when you inhale, you really just have to get used to putting your hand on your stomach. Inhale, your stomach goes out. Exhale, your stomach pulls back in. Also, when you exhale, don't go forward. Don't go back. Your posture is always upright. And again, your chin is just normal. Does that make sense? Okay. That's your posture. That's your breathing.
Yeah. I was
true.
thinking to myself, she's right.
She's good, isn't she? Everybody needs to give her a call.
I should try that.
Posture, very, very important on so many different levels too, right? Tell us about that clip there. That was a great clip.
That was just a breathing clip. I think a lot of people get caught up with breath, and they're thinking that breath is the solution to the vocal problem. So I do like to briefly cover breath so that we can kind of get the focus away from the breath and more on having the proper coordination of what your vocal cords want to do when you move from low to high. But and it's so much less complicated than people make it out to be. I mean, we breathe naturally, very normally, all throughout the day, all throughout the night, you know? And then in the context of a song, it's only 2.5 or 3 minutes, maybe 3.5, you know? It's not that difficult. You just need to be shown. And that's what the clip gives you is like your rib cage is going to expand. You want to think about taking an inhale below your belly button. Your stomach comes out, you know, because again, as I said earlier, it's like one little inhale, thinking about it coming from below your belly button is going to provide you with way more space than if you go, and it gets kind of confusing because we see artists do that all the time on stage. But again, we should look at them for, you know, to either we're watching them to enjoy them and to take them in. But if we're actually wanting to sing their songs, it's like use them as a blueprint, you know, they're not like the epitome of vocal health. A lot of times they're getting into trouble behind the scenes, and you don't really hear about it from the audience perspective unless they come online and they say that, you know, they had laryngitis or the flu or something. You know, they struggle like normal people because they are normal people,
Right.
you know, just with a spotlight on them. So
do we tend to hyperventilate a lot too when we're singing, when we're not taking in the air the right way? Like you said, the breathing is such an important part of all of this.
yeah, I think there's also like nerves that come into play. And so that's why if we all just, you know, makes me think of a few years ago, I started having panic attacks seemingly out of nowhere. You know, you go to therapy and you realize, oh, there's other things going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, I called my doctor and he's like, okay, the prescription is you're going to be breathing 3 times a day for 5 minutes. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, you're just going to keep one hand on your stomach and you're just going to breathe. You're going to try to inhale and then hold for 5, right? It will inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5. And right off the bat, it calmed my nervous system so quickly. And so if, I don't know if any of you are interested in meditating, but if you're nervous or you struggle with anxiety, you know, first things first before any kind of medications. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but just trying to slow down your breath, you know?
Just trying to write is so important on so many levels. Yeah,
So
because
many
again,
levels.
we tend to hyperventilate. And here's another cool one we have. We'll show this and we'll chat about it. Here's another one from our expert and our special guest, Katie Riggs. Wow.
So I didn't.
Was that from The Masked Singer, or guess who that was?
That's funny. No, it doesn't even show my face. Wow. That was back in the day where you could only have 15 seconds. And I don't know why I didn't show
Right.
my face. It's very awkward. But I also didn't give the context of like a really pretty beginning. I just went straight to the meat of the song, you know? It's like everybody's attention span, including my own, it can feel shorter and shorter these days. So I just went right for the gusto with that one. And it's a high part of the song. It's like, how do you sing those notes so powerfully if it's not chest voice, right? Again, people think that if it's high and it's powerful, then it's got to be chest because your chest voice is the strongest part of your range, because then the only other part of your range is but no, there's not just 2 voices and that's it. You know, there's a way to make it up into those notes in a way that feels very comfortable. I mean, whether you know, that sound to you was pleasing or not, it's doing exactly the same thing that she's doing in her throat, you know?
Right, exactly. Very, very cool. Here's another tip from Katie.
Right, so it's like da na 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 da na 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 na. Try da na 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 na. So
She's
That's
so
really
cute.
cool. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
I
Right.
mean, so that wasn't a vocal range building exercise. That was the client, ever so young, she already had the notes locked in. So then we get to the fun stuff. The fun stuff is being able to do riffs and runs and style in different ways, knowing that you don't have to worry or think about what's my voice going to do at this certain point, because it's already locked in. So we can get into more of the creative realm and like taking a song that you've heard 9 million times and doing it in a different way that puts your stamp on it. I mean, like that's when it actually really gets fun.
Yeah.
The work is necessary. You've got to, like, the first things first is building your range, knowing how to access notes that you didn't have confidence with or felt like, you're whatever, like get the frustrations and the confusion, like demystify the range, get it together. And then we get to actually like sing different things and have fun. And it's so fun. So yeah, that wasn't a vocal technique exercise. I mean, it does have the theory behind it because, she didn't start to yell anywhere. So it's incorporating the vocal technique, but it's like singing, like actual stuff, little.
Has singing changed over the years? Like sometimes you'll hear people say, where are all the crooners? Where are all the softer sounds, more the Peggy Lee sultry sounds? It's much more higher and louder and bolder and almost yelling, some people will say. Has it evolved? Has it changed in that direction? Are there still those components to the more, you're getting a little bit closer to the speaker because they're singing lower and softer and more croonerish? Has that changed in recent years?
I think because production has changed, a lot of the singers don't strive like they used to. Like I can tell you with almost a quarter century. I mean, I've been teaching for 23 years. That the song choices of students were a lot different, even just 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago. And I feel like there's going to be a reemergence of the level of talent and skill that we see, because I do feel like it's at a low because productions made it really easy to not even really have to sing.
You have auto tune and other technology. You can edit and just rely on computers and digital and technology to almost
call it Frankensteining the track together.
Yeah.
Whereas we didn't have the technology,
So
a while ago to
you were
where
hearing, yeah.
you had to sing that song all the way through. And if it wasn't great, you got to do it again. Now you can like literally take one part of a word and then attach it to the same word, but a different delivery of it. I mean, it's gotten really out of control.
I agree. And this is coming from an expert. I just, as a consumer of it, yeah, it's, and there is a lot of sameness, like a lot of people sound the same, where before, like you say, 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, there was a distinction among artists. Okay, well, that was Andy Williams, and that was Shirley Bassey, and that was Johnny Mathis, and that was Elvis, and that was whoever, the Rolling Stones. Now it all sounds the same in many
Yeah.
ways. And I thought it was just me saying that and a few other people who agree, but you see that.
Absolutely. It's changed. It definitely has changed. I mean, and I try to do my part in here is to go like, no, like, like expand your comfort zone, like I try to brighten up or, because if someone hears something on the radio that's been done a million times and they want to sound like that, I can't just let that go.
You know
I
what
can't
grates
let it
on
go.
me? Not just in singing. I don't think you really hear it as much in singing, maybe, but
Hmm.
just in normal speech pattern, vocal fry.
Mm.
And
What's
you,
up with
and
that?
you know what that is, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Not well,
that's what you hear.
easy too, the up talk, but are we going to go to the store now? Or
Yeah.
we're going to go to the store now?
Yeah.
Is that up? Like, are you asking a question, or are we actually going to that like
Yeah, yeah.
my hair today? It's like
Yeah.
that maudlin and morbid, and yeah, there's
You
this
hear that a
vocal.
lot.
Oh my God, it drives me nuts when I hear
Yeah.
it. And
I
you
mean,
hear it now in commercials. They're actually hiring people who to do TV commercials and all, who have that sound. And I'm constantly throwing my shoe at the TV, and I work in TV, and I'm like, stop hiring that sound.
it'll
Uh,
change. It has to change.
it's not good for your vocal cords to have
No,
that it's sort of an entitled, uppity, arrogant sound. Where did that come from? What's happening?
I don't know where it came from, but I totally,
You have none of it. Your voice, you're butter when you speak, but some people, it's an
it's just like,
affectation that they
yeah,
add to it.
yeah, which is gonna make the voice tired depending upon how long they're using it. It's just like
Yeah,
singing with a cold. Your voice is gonna get tired because it's away from its natural state.
right.
But I do believe and I do have faith that when something goes low, its only other direction to go is back up. So, I
Heard
do
that
feel
somewhere
like,
else before.
yeah. But,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it has
it's
to
true.
change. What is it just gonna get worse and worse and worse
Please.
and worse?
Yeah,
It's already worse.
right, right. Exactly.
Like back in the day, you switched the radio station, you heard like a different genre of music. Now it feels like it's all the same unless they're doing throwbacks.
It's the same 12 songs, right? Exactly, over and over and over. I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
And I would mess with my dad a little bit when I would take lessons and I would kind of bring in these easier songs that weren't really doing anything just to kind of like see what he would say. And he would say, Kathleen, you never dumb down your voice for anybody. For anybody. You never dumb down your voice, which meant like if you're going to sing an easier song, like flex, like show that you can do different things. Don't just do it because it's popular. And
Right.
so when I have anybody that comes in, we're not staying down low. I will
No.
guarantee that. We are stretching. I'm going to show you how to move and groove. And then when somebody actually understands that they can do it,
Right.
you birth new dreams of the song. Because look, if you're just walking around in chest voice and that's all you think that is available to you, then yeah, you go into the producer and you make all these songs that really you're not doing too much. But if I show you that you can actually do more, and then I give you a throwback song, even though all they want to see, it's not all they want to sing, but like if I give them a throwback song and have them work, they're going, oh my God, I can actually do that. Then it gets really exciting. And then they might want to use it in their own music. So I do
Right.
my part. I'll just let you know.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Right. Exactly. Holding a note, the pregnant pause, all of that creates the
All of it.
emotion and the build up and the crescendo and all of that, like you hear in orchestral and instrumental music as well, which
Yeah.
is so key. We have
And I
another,
can tell you it's literally because the way that I was raised and the way
yeah,
that I was trained
your
and the
exposure. Yeah,
and the way that I feel in my own voice because of it,
right.
you know, that I want to share it. And when I get to, it's awesome.
You know, too, I'm sure generationally for some, maybe younger students, what you're showing them and teaching them in terms of like this, what we're talking about, the sound and the ability to do that kind of material is fresh and new to them. How many times do you hear stories about somebody pulling out an old record or something from, 30 years ago and playing it, and they're like, it's the first time they've ever heard that kind of music, and they're stunned by it. They're like, "My God, that sounds really good." Whether it's vocal or instrumental, they're listening to it and they're like, "That's real stuff. It's warm and you feel it." And I love the rhythms and the percussion and the vocal range, all of it. And even choral groups too, which you used to hear a lot of choral groups, harmony, which was fantastic. And when you pull that out and you play it, and I've done that in the car. I've pulled all that. I got a ton of music and I pull all this stuff out. And they're like, "Is that new?" I'm like, "No, that came out in 1974."
Yeah. I mean, so you want to know both though, because a lot of these clients are brand new and they are coming up. And so you've got to know both. You've got to know what's new and what's current, and then how to kind of weave in the old school with it.
I like that. That's the way to do it. Exactly. The
Because
combination.
otherwise it's like an immediate, like, you don't understand me because you don't know what's current. You don't know
Right.
what's on the radio. You don't know what's popular amongst my peers.
You
So you
have to
have to know
have
that.
the blend of both.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Got another clip here for we're going to share, gang. Here we go.
Can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. And I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. I guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me. 'Cause you said forever, I drive alone past your street.
Come join us.
This is back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Have you ever shattered any windows in your place?
No, but I've tried. I've tried.
Like the Memorex cassette commercials. Yeah, that is cool. Wow. And
Yeah.
I
I
get,
think it's
yeah,
important to be able to, for me in
yeah.
my teaching, to be able to show what I do. So I'm not just talking about it. I'm going to walk the talk.
I think that's so important on so many different levels. Yeah, it's really a fantastic way. And hey, we've got some cool photos that you sent along that I want to share too, which we appreciate. Look at this cool one. Tell us about, oh my God, what's happening here?
Well, we've got some of my sisters and some of my brothers. You've got right next to me, the littlest one. And then to the left, you see my sister Rachel. And then above me is my brother Kevin. And then to the left is my brother Matthew. To the left of him is my sister Alicia. And then right next to Michael is Ariel. That's my other sister. And we're missing a brother in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And brother Michael in the center.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I don't even know how old I was in that picture. Maybe, I don't know, 6?
When you met him, were you
5?
mesmerized? Were you like,
I didn't understand the gravity, to be honest.
yeah, right. That happens, right? And then later on we appreciate, we're like, wow. And
Yeah. I
when we
mean,
go,
looking back, it's just like one of the coolest things.
yeah,
And also
absolutely.
knowing, like, Michael was probably my dad's biggest client that he
Yeah.
was with from the Elder Jackson 5 all the way up until This Is It.
Yeah.
And just being around when he would train, I mean, no matter where my dad would go, he would always have a keyboard ready
Yeah.
for when Michael wanted to warm up. So I heard Michael warming up a lot throughout my childhood, and his dedication to practice,
It was
next
really something.
level, another level. Yeah. I mean, perfectionism can be definitely like a blessing and a curse, but in the way of vocals, the work that he put in was just able to sustain him over a very long career, you know?
Yeah, absolutely right on so many different levels. And does the rest of the family, the siblings, do they sing? Are they in the musical world too?
My sister Rachel Riggs is another vocal teacher. Yes. Yeah. So she's the only one. And then all my other brothers and sisters they're in education, but not singing education. Yeah.
You, we got another cool shot here.
Yeah. Me and Dua Lipa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Working
She's
with her.
fantastic.
Yeah.
She really is fantastic. You know, a lot of people would think that, people might not carry themselves so nicely. And not even speaking specifically about her, but celebrities in general, it's just, you get reminded, I get reminded that when I'm working with different people that we're just all very human,
That's
very
right.
human, but also being of service to someone's gift in such a vulnerable way. I have never come across somebody that, was kind of wild with ego. And I've been so lucky, knock on wood, that I've just always been met with like a really kind of humble, on the earth, down to earth. And that's just, it's just a really great reminder that celebrities are just people that have more of a spotlight on them. And that is really it,
That's what it is. Exactly. Yeah. That's another great shot.
Oh, that's a cute one. So that's Heavenly Joy Jerkins. That's Rodney Jerkins, Joy Enriquez is their daughter. And
How cool is
she was
that?
on America's Got Talent.
That's right.
And she is just so adorable in that picture, and she's still so adorable.
That's so cool, huh?
And her little brother on the iPad in the back.
And then that's cool. And then this is something coming up too pretty soon.
Yeah.
I know you're
Yeah,
excited
so
about this.
totally excited about. So that is me and my partner's Level Up Master Your Mix workshop. And that's coming up this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And yeah, it's going to be awesome because we take part of the time to explain what is this mix, how do you achieve it, give you the tools to achieve it in your voice. And then the second part of the time is actually having singers work through pieces of their songs. There can be a really big disconnect between warming up and then actually singing the songs, right? A lot of people will warm up and they're going, okay, I feel like I'm going to do a really great job because these exercises felt so great in my voice. And then they get into a song and they're going like, what? Like, what happened? What happened to the feel that I just got when I was doing the vocal technique? So this class is awesome because you see people working in real time on their songs to bridge that gap, to build the connection between vocal scales and the actual singing of songs.
That sounds so cool. So exciting, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's
And
pretty fun.
again, it doesn't matter where people live too, because now with the technology, they could be anywhere and avail themselves of the opportunity to
Mhm.
learn, right? I would imagine you've probably got a pretty long waiting list of people who want to be taught by
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It's about a month and a half right now. And I'm so grateful for that. It's
Yeah.
also kind of expensive, and that's why I like to do these workshops because they're a lot less money, but then you have two experts in one workshop, yeah, so it's a great opportunity if anybody's wanting to learn how to use their voice more effectively and wanting to open up different parts of their range and just wanting to use their voice and have a different experience than maybe the one they've been having, or want to level up the one that they're having. That's what we call level up.
Yeah, to level up. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do you love doing this so much? It's in you're living your dream, you're living your bliss, you're in the sweet spot. You can hear it, how passionate you are. What is it about it that really speaks to you?
I think it's because I know how it feels to have a struggle in my voice and to break through onto the other side, and to be able to have the tools to turn it on in other people. I mean, that's the best. That's the best case scenario is me being able to use what I have to affect somebody else to where they can go off and just have a different experience with singing, you know? I feel like that is definitely, and God or above, higher power, whatever it is, universe, whatever it is, definitely this is exactly what I am to be doing with my life, you know, is being of
Yes.
maximum service to singers, you know, and being able to share my own story in the realm of like self-care and also sobriety and vocal technique, all of the stuff, all of the worlds blending it together. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it's been awesome. It's been really
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, it's cool, you know, to be doing what you love doing and then inspiring, mentoring, and empowering others along the way as well. It's fantastic. And again, you've had music around your entire life, and you're sharing it, the blessings and joy of it all, because music's very healing. It's connecting. It's the universal language, and it's, you know, surrounding ourselves with music can get us through a lot of things in life, the ups, the downs, the joys, the triumphs, the tragedies, all of it. And it's really fantastic that you get a chance to do it in such a unique way. And you've helped so many people of all different, like you say, from celebrity to just somebody that wants to express themselves through their voice. It's a really cool thing. The voice is an instrument.
Yeah, I get to be
And,
a puzzle piece.
exactly right. You know, I pulled up real quick that video that I wanted you to hear with the Sandy Patty, and yeah, it won't sound as good through here as if you watch it direct, you know, with your own speakers. But listen to this. It's on YouTube. It's 1986 Liberty Weekend on ABC, Sandy Patty, and it's this incredible version of our Star Spangled Banner, and it's amazing. Here it is.
The Meadowlands, the great Liberty Weekend celebration at the Meadowlands, and we hope you've enjoyed it. We've been thinking over this weekend that you've heard an awful lot of people sing who were famous, who you see and hear almost every day and certainly every week of the year. You've heard the Star Spangled Banner sung by all sorts of famous people. Somebody in this shop heard a woman sing the Star Spangled Banner not too long ago. She comes from Anderson, Indiana. We thought you'd like to hear it too. Her name is Sandy Patty.
I'm just giggling because when has that ever been done? I don't think that's ever been done. I think she did that.
Sandy Patty, yeah, Christian singer.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 1986 Liberty Weekend.
You can tell that she's in a pocket and she's just riding the pocket. Like and she's composed. It doesn't sound like she's struggling, you know?
It's incredible. And just when you think
really
she's
incredible.
done, she goes to next level and next level and next level. Plus, I think we need to do more joyous things like that.
Yeah.
That was celebrating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty. And look how everybody came together and all the performers, and just our country, our world, we've not been coming together like that.
No.
We got to come back to that. But I wanted to hear that, and it's on YouTube. It's extraordinary. It's just
extraordinary, yeah.
Clear and clean.
Yes.
And just, yeah.
Yes. No, all of a sudden her voice is breaking, or no, all of a sudden she's starting to strain. And because we can hear that when someone's struggling, we're going, uh-oh, you know?
Right, exactly.
That was great.
Unbelievable, right? So I tell you, so people can go to the website, they can learn more, and all different ages, right? Anybody that just wants to
My eldest student has been in his 80s, and he comes in every single Monday, and he always wanted to explore singing, but he felt too shy about it. And what a gift, you know, it's been to train him and see him every Monday. And, you know, even at 80, you know, you can turn things around. It's really, really cool. Somebody that had a completely different career.
Yeah.
You know?
It's incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do see a lot of these questions in the comments. And
yes.
if you guys want to email me like a list of your questions, I'm at Kathleen M. Riggs at hotmail.com. That's with a K. KATHLEENMRIGGS at hotmail.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions. There's a bunch of them. I'd love to make it make sense for you. Yeah, just to demystify the experience of singing. Yeah, I mean, all it really comes down to patient. Like if you had a question like, if I'm tone deaf, can I learn to sing? Yeah. If you're patient, yeah. But if you feel like you've gotten older and your voice has changed, can you still get back up into the high notes? Yes. You just need to be shown, And if you want to come to my workshop on Saturday, I'll show you how. I'll show you how to do that. Otherwise,
Absolutely. Yeah.
just email me, KathleenRiggs.com. Yeah.
Cool stuff. I tell you, really, and absolutely cool stuff. And Kathleen is very partial to your name. She loves your name. when she hears Kathleen, her posture straightens out. Like when I hear James.
Yeah, mine too.
There's something about it. Kathleen, James, yes.
Yeah, when I was a lot younger, I went by Kathleen because I felt like Kathleen was definitely the more mature, established sounding name. And then as I've gotten older, I'm going back to Katie.
Katie, that's it. There's the website, gang. She's amazing. And as you can see, she likes to have a lot of fun. She's professional and approachable and affable. And this was a hoot. I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Katie.
I mean, usually when I'm going to do an interview or something, like I get sent questions and it can feel, depending upon who's doing the interviewing, it can feel, I don't know, like tight or something, or like, we're just trying to answer these questions I loved your format. It was really warm. It was calm. It was natural. Like there was the flow and everything. So thank you for having me on. Thank you for, letting me share with you.
Absolutely. And thanks for sharing with us. And that's the vibe here, the Lovity vibe. They already said you're a Lovity. How cool is that?
Yeah. Cool.
I tell people
part of the fam.
You're a part of the fam. I always say it all the time. There's Grammys, Tonys, Peabodys, Emmys, Tellys, all these great awards, Oscars. But when you're a Lovity on the Jim Masters show, most people say their feet start tingling. Are your feet tingling right now?
Yeah. My left one mainly.
The left one mainly. That's the one that's been going up and down through the whole conversation, right? I caught myself doing that when I was on the air one time. I was like, why is my, I'm in the thick of what I'm saying, and why is my leg going up and down? It's just part of, it's like almost like, it's like being a musician, whether you see like certain things happening, and it's kind of cool. It's part of the rhythm of what you do.
It's being creative, It's being creative. I mean, I don't sit on a normal bench. I've got this ergonomic chair, so I'm moving all the time. It actually helps me.
Yes. That's a good idea. I like that. That's a really good idea. Well, thanks for being with us, my friend. Spread the word about the Jim Masters Show live, like that spread to you. It's, we all know it takes a village, and continued success with everything. And stay in touch. Keep you posted. We'd love to have you come back. We'll keep that porch light on for you.
Thank you so much, Jim. I will definitely spread the word.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. You be well and you take care. And one last person that usually pops in, Mr. George Burns is with us. He pops in towards
He's eternal. He really is.
He is eternal. And he did a little soft shoe and some singing with Gracie. My aunt collected dolls, like thousands of dollars worth of dolls, had our separate room in the house for dolls. This got passed down to me. And he pops in and always gives his stamp of approval with a cigar. And he hangs down below with his martini. He's sort of like an associate producer. And he loved the conversation.
Hi, George. Thanks, George.
That's it. I tell you.
My mom actually, she collected dolls too.
Did she?
Yeah. She had a ton of dolls.
Yeah. There was a thing.
It was scary going in there as a kid.
Did they talk? Did you teach any of them to sing?
I felt like they did. I felt like definitely their eyes were moving. Yes.
It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
Thanks, Katie. I appreciate it very much. Really a blessing to chat with you, and we'll chat again soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye,
guys.
Take care now.
Me.
Oh, you're welcome. Katie Riggs on the Jim Masters Show. Good to have her here. She's really fantastic at what she does, right? And she shared a lot with us too, a lot of really practical tips, unique tips. We got a lot of people watching too. Carla watching in Brazil. Hey, Carla, so good to see you as well. Inside the song, they're in the house. Good night, Gracie. So good to see you as well. We love when you guys are here. Uniclaire is here from the Philippines. Good to see you as well. Uniclaire, everybody here. Sherry Larson in Kansas, USA is with us. Good to see Sherry, and Jen is with us from Pennsylvania, and Kathleen in New York City, and Christine in North Carolina watching us. Yeah, Jane in Sweden. That clip with Sandy Patty, that was from the 1986 Liberty Weekend celebration. It was a 4-day long weekend celebration celebrating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty, which of course was a gift to the United States from France. And you saw the French president, Mitterrand, was there, and Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan were there. And it was an incredible 4-day weekend in New York, ships in the harbor and fireworks and all kinds of incredible things. And I think we need to have more of that. We got to have more celebrations and more bringing us together, and fireworks and singing and all kinds of stuff. That was an incredible, epic thing. And they used Sandy Patty's voice, ABC, for the wrap up of the weekend, the final day. Her voice is unbelievable, isn't it? One of the greatest versions of our national anthem I've ever heard. The Whitney Houston version at the Super Bowl, fantastic too. That Sandy Patty version just knocks it out of the park. Really incredible. Thank you, Carla, and you guys talking about Sandy Patty's voice. Really amazing. And I don't know if that's the first time you guys heard it, but it's really amazing. Really absolutely cool. Good stuff. Yes, of course. From Nashville, Music City, USA. Good to see you, Donna. Love when you're here as well. And it's snowing where you are in Pennsylvania. That means it's on its way here if it's not already. Actually, I've got a little thing below that tells us snow is coming. So you can't keep it there in Pennsylvania, huh? You can't keep it with you in Allentown. We've got the snow coming our way. Thanks, Jim. Great show. Cool stuff. Glad you guys enjoyed it. And really, so many folks that were with us today. Carla, thank you very much for watching in Brazil, and Wozniak here in the house. Good to see you, Ann. And Ms. Pat in Texas, and Merlin watching in Canada. Yeah, Merlin had goosebumps when she was hearing that. Great conversation. And you learned something new, right? Never too late, never too early to start singing. And she's really fantastic, isn't she? She's really good at what she does. And she's a lot of fun. And she's very talented, super talented, master vocal, technique, and therapy coach. Yeah, we're talking Katie Riggs right here on the Jim Masters Show live series. I want to let you know too, tomorrow we have some amazing guests. There is a new musical comedy and a new album that is out and that is being debuted. And we have lyricist and librettist, composer, conductor, lyricist and librettist Lauren Tazlitz is going to be with us, and the renowned Danny Ursetti is going to be with us, composer, conductor, drummer, percussionist, arranger. They're going to be with us tomorrow, and they're going to be talking about this incredible new, fantastic musical comedy that's out and all the music. Yeah, that's tomorrow. It's going to be great. They're all excited. So are we. We're very excited about it. Then coming up on Wednesday, we have comic, comedy coach, and humor enthusiast extraordinaire. Susanna Spies is going to be with us. That's going to be huge. Then on Thursday, Joel Thurm, Hollywood casting director, one of the most famous, legendary casting directors. And he wrote a new book, Sex, Drugs, Pilot Season. He tells all. It's Confessions of a Casting Director. And some of his stories are unbelievable and extraordinary with his new book that is out. And he is going to be here exclusively on the Jim Masters Show on Thursday. Legendary, famed, and admired Hollywood casting director. He's also a brilliant photographer and artist. But his new book is riveting. It's a tell-all situation. And boy, does he. He's here on Thursday. Joel Thurm, legendary. And then we have Peter Bliss on Friday, renowned music producer. His music has been sung by so many people. Barbara Streisand has sung his songs. In Sync has sung his songs. Television, commercials, movies, you name it. Peter Bliss's stamp of musical prowess is on everything, and he's been doing it for decades, and he's a wonderful musician himself. He's with us on Friday. What a lineup of extraordinary guests we have coming up this week, every day. Did I just say every day? What am I, crazy? Every day, just about, here on the Jim Masters Show. All these fantastic talents. And of course, Kathleen Riggs joining us, master vocal technique and therapy coach, on this episode of the Jim Masters Show live series. Tell a friend about our show. If you enjoyed it, gang, give us a like. Definitely click that thumbs up button icon you see on the YouTube channel. Before you scoot off, click the thumbs up. Drop a comment. Leave a comment on the actual YouTube channel in the comments section. And also, if you haven't, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps us grow big time and lets us know you appreciate what we're doing. And we really appreciate you for doing that. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, but when you do click subscribe, it really helps our show big time. And we really, really appreciate that. Going to take a look at a few more comments here. And a lot of great people here today and every day. Kathleen says, expecting a wintry mix tonight. It's the weather report live from the Queen of Queens in New York City. Christine Clifton says, Jim, thanks again for bringing us such wonderful shows every week. All of them different, but all are excellent. Good night and lovely hugs to all. Thank you, Christine. To you and your mom there in North Carolina. Thank you very much, Sherry Larson. And thanks, as always, Sherry, for sharing all of the episode links on social media, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Sherry, I think, is our #1 sharer of the links. She does it, I think, before she even has breakfast. She shares the links directly from our YouTube channel onto Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, promoting our episodes, which we really think is a blessing. So thank you very much. Chris Corman, you're a blessing too, my friend, my colleague, my partner in crime here. Thanks, Jim, for having Katie Riggs on. Thank you, my friend, for being here and for your love and support continued of the Jim Masters Show live series, where we're bringing back the lost art of conversation. We don't call these interviews. We call these conversations. Chris, of course, is a terrific guy and a wonderful talent himself. And he's the son of Harvey Korman, one of the greatest comedians and actors of our time on many, many different levels. Great, great, great guy. And you guys are terrific. Thanks for all of the comments, all the levity. Right back at you, brother. Right back at you. Chris Korman in the house. Jane, where it's 2:45 a.m. in Sweden, and she rarely ever misses an episode. She's always here. Thank you, Chris. He's saying that his dad, Harvey Korman, would have loved me. Well, I certainly have loved your dad, as have millions of people around the world. I know you, of course, and we send heavenly blessings his way and your way as well. Gang, you guys are fantastic. Thanks for being with us. We have so many shows coming up for you. We've got a few inches of snow on our doorstep coming, so it'll be a wintry day tomorrow. Maybe we'll also post a few photos on social media. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. We're going to duck out. Don't forget, there are somewhere around 900 episodes and counting you can watch on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and you can binge them all and share and have a blast. We'll see you on the next one. Okay, gang, don't forget, we don't say goodbye around Levity Hall here. We say see you later. Ciao, cheers, sláinte, shalom, sayonara, hasta la vista, moi loop, take care, cheerio, and everything. Avida Zane, sayonara. Don't forget to relax. Don't forget to breathe. As you learned tonight with Katie Riggs, master vocal coach and more, don't forget to breathe, relax, breathe, take care of one another, take care of your voice, your inner voice, and this voice. I do it all the time too. You know, I try to hydrate and do a lot of things because I'm using my voice all the time on radio and television, and then here as a content creator and digital media, same thing. My voice is my instrument, and it's very important to take care of yourself. Yeah, while you're taking care of others. You're welcome, Jim. Been slipping lately. We'll do better. You're doing great. You're doing great, Sherry, there in Kansas. All right, gang, we're going to slip out, but not for long. We'll be back tomorrow. If you want to binge watch, go ahead. We love that. And spread the word. Continue to tell everybody you know about the Jim Masters Show live series. Thank you, Merlin and Canada. And we'll see you guys soon. Okay, we'll be back with another great episode of your favorite show, the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, variety, celebrity talk show series. You notice my arm disappeared because that's so long. If I start here, entertainment, lifestyle, variety, celebrity talk show series. See, if I start here where that guitar is, then we got the whole title in. You can just call it the Jim Masters Show, and we know what you mean. Good stuff. We'll catch you guys later, okay? Thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. We love you all. Be well, take care. Cheers, and thanks for watching. See you again next time. Take care.